This past weekend, I was a speaker at an event in Somerton, Massachusetts, close to Boston, and it was for domestic abuse. The month of October is Domestic Abuse Awareness Month, and so that event for me was profound. It was beautiful. It was light and heavy. The energy was definitely light and heavy, light in the sorts of laughter and talking, communicating, and just women getting together and just being in a space where they could share and be open, but heavy that stories were told and things surfaced back, and of course tears flowed and the emotions were felt, recalling that moment for many women when they were in those domestic abuse situations. What I took from that was that shift that women felt, that fear of moving outside of where they used to be, stifled in a box where they couldn't manage and move, into the unknown of traveling and journeying where they didn't know where their end point was going to be. I always use this analogy when I think about journeying and how we pack our bags, to prepare for the end, wherever we settle at. And as women, we're always so overprepared, even when we go on trips. Like, we got to have 5 outfits and we're going to be there 2 days. We got to have options. But as we're journeying along, with these bag full of things, we realize that the load gets heavy. And so we begin to unpack. But what we do as women, or just people in general, is that we take a look at what we have and we say, okay, that can go. I'm going to keep this. This is sentimental, or I need this. That can go. And we rationalize why it is that we keep some things and we let go of others. And so we travel along the way and we journey as well. And we keep going. And then the load becomes heavy again. And so we look at the items in our bag and we do it again. We rationalize. We try to figure out what stays and what goes. There's always this one thing that we keep close to us that should have been released in the beginning when the load was heavy, but we keep keeping it. And as we journey along, again, the load gets heavy and we won't get rid of that big bulky thing that keeps us bound, keeps us down. We just feel that if we get rid of everything else, that big bulky thing that's in the way, it won't matter. For a lot of people, that big bulky thing is really what lightens the whole load in the journey, but it's something sentimental about keeping it there, keeping it in the space of your travels, your journey. I'm here to tell you that thing that's so heavy, if you take it with you, if you continue to journey with it, at that end point, you'll still have the same issues and the same problems. You have to get to the point where you understand that the things that you take with you on your journey shouldn't have been taken in the first place, because you're going somewhere where you're going to show up different. And it's a new scenery. So sometimes you just have to get rid of the load. Because I am a believer that your destination will prepare you for what it is that you need and what it is that you'll carry through with you. It's like forgetting everything, just deciding one day I'm going to move to, let's say, Texas. I need a new environment. I need to get my head together. Everything that I had reminds me of my past, so I'm just going to let it go and I move. And it's miraculous that we pick up and we find that the new things honor our new self. If you're in this season of shifting and journeying where you just want a different life and a different perspective and different living, and you want to honor yourself and honor yourself in love and honor yourself in your knowledge and honor yourself in your wisdom. You just want to be at a place of peace. You can't take along the things with you that has held you down. It's just impossible. I know sometimes it seems sentimental to hold on to, but some instances and memories have to just be laid aside, because what you have coming for you now requires that you undo many things and that you show up with nothing in your hand but just who you are. It's like a blank slate. Being able to just be with nothingness. I have to be honest, this shift in my personal life, and even with talking to some of the women, the shift in their life brought them to spaces where while they were journeying, they could see the end of the journey. The light was there. They could see the location in which they were going to stop, but many things began to happen along the way. There were many traps that were set to make them want to give up. Things that had to be defeated before they could go on. And when I think about that in the sense of traps being set and things that stand so still for us to walk over, I always see it as a personal challenge. Like, everything won't always be good. But in order for you to gain the strength and for order for you to know, there are things that you just have to fight with and wrestle with in order for you to get to the end point. Because by the time you're at the end, you've battled so much that you've passed the test, and passing the test is the honorable thing when you have journeyed to get to a new place in your life. I heard some of the women talk about the struggle of their now and not forgetting, but I think more so trying to come up with resolution in their lives on how to heal from things in their past and what to do with those things when it comes back, in a sense, to haunt them. How is it that you settle with yourself when the difficulty in the time and place and the space in which you were as a person reminds you of who you were? I want to tell you to quit sitting on things that happened in the past. When you make the personal offering to do something different, to be someone new, you're doing it for self and not for others. You're doing it for self and to get stronger. You're doing it for self because you want something different. You're doing it for self because you owe yourself that. You're doing it for self because you're growing. And many times when we're growing, we can't fight the growth. And many of us realize that in order to grow and to be this person that we need to be, we just have to allow it to be as it may and not fight the feeling. The shift in your life will show you many things about yourself. The shift in your life will give you so much insight about who you are, what you will take and what you won't take. The shift in your life will give you eyes to see very clearly, with clarity on decisions that you'll make and places that you'll go and people that will honor your space. The shift will allow you to be the bigger person. The shift will allow you to stand in your mess. The shift will allow you to be the person that you always wanted to be, but this time you have power over yourself, the authority to move in spaces that you never thought that you were able to do. The shift in your life will allow more blessings to come your way. The shift in your life will allow you to see the beauty in yourself. The shift in your life will give you more resolution as to where you're going. The shift in your life explains a lot of who you used to be to your now. The shift in your life will give you new friends and new counterparts. The shift in your life will bring opportunities. The shift in your life will allow you to think about what you want versus the way that you never thought about anything that was for you. The shift in your life will provide you with what you need. The shift in your life will gain more mental clarity and awareness. The shift in your life will bring More people who are there to help you, who will love you, who will be there for you, who will listen. The shift in your life is something that we will all go through. You have to take it as it is, honoring that this space here is what you need. The shift in your life is scary. It is a space that is much different than what you experienced, and you don't know how to act now that you're in it. The shift in your life is a journey that takes a mental toll, sometimes a physical toll. You'll find clarity in your health. You'll find clarity in your mental space. You'll find clarity in why you picked relationships. You'll find clarity in why you gravitated to some friendships. You'll find clarity in things that you never thought about because, see, the past space that you had didn't allow you to think this deep. I want you to stop beating yourself up too. Because one of the things that we do when we travel from one place to the next in that shift is, though we recognize our past self and the way we may have behaved and maybe the things that came to us that we couldn't change, we still have a loss and a grief in the sense of not forgiving ourselves for what we endured or what we did. We still want to kind of go back and make it right or change it up a little bit. But you do realize that the shift means that you've gone from one realm to the other, that you went from one space to the other, that your mind shift is different, and that you really don't owe anybody any explanations but yourself. And when you've forgiven, you let it go and you put it into the sea of the space in which you've honored that you were that way or it happened to you, and that you're going to be fine. I also want to inform you that on this shift, in this journey, this place that you're traveling, to be more aware of people, the people in your life. You have to have a support system in order for you to grow, because, once you grow, you become different. And those who don't recognize that growth will try to keep you back. They'll try to remind you of how you used to show up or the things that you went through, because they've not grown. And so many times people want you equal to where they have been. Also be aware of what you share with people. This shift, it gives you this heightened sense of, for yourself, like I'm growing, I'm making it, I'm doing great. But many times if you don't have people around you who are there to encourage, they'll sink you. They'll absolutely sink you. They're there to listen to how you've moved from one area to the next, only to be privy to the information that unfolds, but they're not there to honor your growth and your happiness. So be careful. This shift will also introduce you to some blessings. And one thing about blessings is that the blessing is for you, and many people don't like to see you being so blessed. And so in that shift and in your continuous season, be a little bit quiet about what God is doing for you. Sometimes it just kind of shows itself on the outside without you even making a fuss, without you even speaking on it. Let it show for itself. But don't talk about what's happening. Don't give anybody the insight on what's going on the back end. You'll see a lot of grand things happening for your life. And I know in that moment, because we've been down for so long, we get excited and we want to share the good news, and we hope that people around us are just as happy. But please be still in sharing your blessing, because sometimes, again, that blessing is for us to be provided and opened up in due time. Sometimes there's beauty in the mystery of what unfolds. And when it unfolds, it is what it is. And that in itself is everything. And when we talk about the shift, just be aware that things are going to constantly be changing for you, and it's okay. It's okay that it's not going to be perfect. I think, again, I'm going to go back to what I said. Sometimes when we're journeying and we feel that shift and that change in our lives, like we are hopeful that everything on the outside would be great and happy, and we're la 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 along. But let me tell you something, there will be a break in that journey. It's going to be some humps. It's going to be some bumps in the road. It's going to be some things that you're going to have to move over, and you have to be equipped with that. But even the notion of wanting to start that journey says a lot. Many times we seem to think that we will begin and then we will end at a certain appointed time, because we may have started off fast and moving in a direction and it looking like we're about to get over it. And then there's something that happens, because life be lifing, and it takes us a little while and we're stifled in that same place. But keep going. Please don't give up. The shift is for you. It is for your, again, I say this, mental clarity. It is for your growth. And the thing about growth is that when you know you've grown and you know that everything about you is different, no one can tell you about you. No one can tell you no one can tell you about your past. No one can tell you or convince you of anything different. You okay everything. You know, they come at you, okay. It is not to serve other people, but it's there to serve you. When we think about the shift, when we think about the movement, when we think about the journey, remember what you want on the outside of this and how you want your life to be different, because you need it. It's required. It's giving you something that you've never gotten before. And when you've gotten to the end of the journey, because it really never stops, but when you get to that place where you find yourself and you find that space, I want you to also honor the things that you weren't able to do beforehand, before you began that journey. So whatever your mind and your heart says to do that. Sit in that space of giving yourself the opportunity to see yourself in a different light. Conquer some things. I'm thinking back at just how good God is and how he shifted the dynamic in my life and the fear of doing some things when he'd been pushing me. And change inevitably made me show up different, because it was always in me, but I was afraid to move on it. And many times fear will lock us into a place where we feel that we are not good enough, that we can't exercise it, that we can't do it, that we don't have the tools, that it's not the right time. The shift provides you with so much more. And this shift is due to a relationship where you feel like it just pulled so much out of you. And you realize that you lost pieces of yourself. I call for you to honor yourself in this space, so that individually you can grow to be a better person for you, period. Sitting in the space of being okay with you by yourself. But also being okay in the space where if someone came your way and offered you everything that you needed, that you would be able to lock into it and be a better person in that new relationship, because you deserve it. And if it's the shift is coming outside of a loss of a job, that you're traveling and journeying in a way in which you are picking up the self-awareness that it happened. It may have or may not have been your fault, but you still got it. You have all of the tools to lock you into a place that's much better than what you experienced on the job and with people and with different scenarios. If that shift is from the loss of a person and death, know that that loss provided you with an insight of, number one, how fragile life is. But life is beautiful when lived, right? It also provides you with the understanding that you were able to be in that person's life and share that journey with them, but now it's your time. Death provides you with the acceptance that we're here for a moment and then we have to travel in a different direction. It provides you with the knowing that it's okay. This is life. We sit in it. But now it's your chance to make the memories and to do the things that you need to do for yourself. The shift is different. It's like I could give you so many words. I could give you so many instances. You know that you're in the shift of your life when you can't help but to grow. You want something different for yourself. You want to feel something different. You want to be related to self. You know, you want to feel your emotions. You want to know how it feels to be you in a freedom, whereas you've been locked in for so long. I'm praying your strength. I really am. I'm praying that as you are journeying through this, that you are understanding that it's okay, that it's nothing but growth, that it's going to be better on the other side, that God has you, that He's going to provide you with everything that you need. And I'll also say that when you are journeying along, baby, leave that stuff where you found it. Don't take it with you. Many of the things that we think that we need to go to the next destination is not needed, because as you're journeying, you're growing and things are falling away. And by the time you get to your destination, you are renewed in a sense, and you'll gravitate to new things. That is good for you. All right. Okay. I hope that was something needed for someone out there that is listening for something to just calm their soul. And as always, thank you so much for listening in, and thank you so much for sharing in this space. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.